Welcome to my project presentation. I am Anay Agrawal from IIT Roorkee. My project is Roman numeral calculator and converter in C++. So take an overview of the project. My goal is to build a comprehensive C++ program that converts between Roman numerals and integers and also performs arithmetic operations. And the same key features are listed below, that it converts Roman number to integers, integer to Roman numbers, calculator for basic arithmetic operations with Roman numerals. It also checks the validity of the Roman numeral input by the user. I have used Microsoft VS Code for compilation. My code supports numbers from 1 to 3999, which is the standard Roman range. Now, basic rules and systems of Roman numerals. How a human converts a Roman numeral to the integers. So first we should know the basic symbols, that I is equals to 1 in integers, v in Roman numerals is equals to 5 in integer, x is equals to 10, and so on. So what are the key rules to convert an Roman number to integer? The key rules are as follows. The first rule is addition rule, which says when a smaller numeral appears after a larger one, add the values. For example, if we take an example of vi, means I here comes after v, smaller comes after larger. So what we will add them, means vi is equals to v plus I, that is 5 plus 1, which is equal to 6. Now second is our subtraction rule, which says when a smaller numeral appears before a larger one, subtract the smaller from larger. That is, if for example iv, if we have given iv, then it will be v minus I, 5 minus 1, and it will give us 4. Now another is repetition. Symbols can be repeated up to 3 times for addition. Repetition, what if happens if a number is repeated? So we will just add them, and if it is more than 3 times, it will not be allowed. Example 3, just 3 times I is 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equals to 3. And last is valid subtractions. Only I, x and c can be subtracted, and only from next to higher symbols. Means I can only be subtracted from v and x, not from c or l. Now we will see our conversion logic. What will be our algorithm to convert Roman number to integer? For writing our code, we should require an algorithm, what we think in our mind. So this is our algorithm. So for what would be our first step? Our first step is to create a lookup map. That is like a similar to dictionary. Means we are uh, assigning Roman numerals their integer value. That I is assigned 1, v is assigned 5, x is assigned 10, l is assigned 50, and so on. Now what we'll do next, we will define a variable result, which will be initialized with 0. What is this variable result? The variable result will store final number after converting our Roman number to integer. Now what will we have a logic. So our logic will be using forward scanning. So what is forward scanning? Forward scanning is processing string left to right and doing look ahead comparison. So look ahead comparison means check if next character is larger. So what we have to do? We have to check only that the next character is larger or smaller. If next character is larger, what our logic says, we should subtract. So here our logic, if current character value is less than next character value, subtract current value from result, else add current value to result. And finally, after all these steps, we would return our result, which would have all the final result after converting Roman numerals to integers. Let's take an example of XLVI. So x is less than l, smaller before larger. So what we will do? Subtract. So our result will initially was 0, but now it will be 0 minus 10, so it will be minus 10. Now next step we will check for L. L is greater than V, larger before smaller. So we will add. So result is equals to minus 10 plus 50, that is equal to 40. Then we check for V. V is greater than I, larger before smaller. Add. Result equal to 40 plus 5, that is 45. Now last symbol is I. So when there is no next symbol, so automatically it will go to the add part, else part, that is addition. And finally we get a result. Now let's see the conversion logic for converting integer to Roman. So again, first what we will do, we create order pairs or a similar dictionary. That 1000 is M, 900 is CM, 500 is DM. So we are also assigning subtraction patterns exclusively because we would require them, and I will explain it further. Again, we will define a variable result which will store our final converted Roman number. Now what we have done here, we have actually made a pair, means a value and its symbol, and arrange them in descending order, right? Now let's see the logic. What will be our logic? So we are going to use greedy approach with iterative reduction. So what it is iterative reduction? Iterative reduction is keep subtracting until number becomes 0. Means we have to subtract the numbers from the given number until it becomes 0. But what will be the order of subtracting a number from the given number? So for that we will use greedy approach. Means use largest possible value first. Means we are going to use largest possible value to subtract. Then each time largest possible value first to subtract from the number. Means like while number is greater than equal to value. Means if the number, suppose any number is greater than equal to value, what we will do? We will append the symbol to result. Append means we just write the symbol next to the remaining word, initial word in the result, and subtract value from number. And हम उस नंबर को उस वैल्यू को हम नंबर में सब्ट्रैक्ट कर देंगे, और फाइनली जब हमारा जो नंबर था जो हमने इनिशियली इनपुट लिया था वो ज़ीरो हो जाएगा आफ्टर मैनी सब्सट्रैक्शंस, तो हम फाइनल आउटपुट अपना दे देंगे। तो इसको हम और अच्छे से समझने के लिए एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं। जैसे कि हम एग्जांपल लेते हैं 968 का। सो 968, अब इससे हमारे पास क्या बड़ा है? 1000 इससे छोटा है, हमें लार्जेस्ट पॉसिबल वैल्यू देखनी है। तो 1000 के बाद हमारे पास क्या आएगा? 900। अब यहाँ से आप समझ सकते हैं कि हमने 900 क्यों रखा है। 900 हमने एक्सक्लूसिवली इसीलिए रखा है, वरना वो डायरेक्ट 500 पे पहुंच जाएगा, तो उससे हमारे आंसर गलत आएंगे। इसलिए हमने 900 एक्सक्लूसिवली सब्सट्रैक्शन पैटर्न्स रखे हैं। सो 900 में हम माइनस करेंगे और CM अपेंड करेंगे। तो CM हमने लिख दिया और 68, अब हमारे पास बचा गया 68। अब हम फिर से 68 से चेक करेंगे कि लार्जेस्ट पॉसिबल वैल्यू कौन सी है 68 से जो सब्ट्रैक्ट हो सकती है उससे, तो वो 50 है। तो हम 50 माइनस कर देंगे और L अपेंड करेंगे। फिर 18 बचा तो 18 में से 10 माइनस करेंगे, 10 के करस्पॉन्डिंग X अपेंड कर देंगे। अब 8 से हम 5 माइनस कर सकते हैं, 5 के करस्पॉन्डिंग हम V अपेंड करेंगे, और हमारे पास अब 3 बचा, तो 3 में इसके करस्पॉन्डिंग हम 1 सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे, 1 अपेंड करेंगे, फिर 1 सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे, फिर 1 अपेंड करेंगे, फिर 1 सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे और फाइनली I अपेंड करेंगे। तो फाइनली हमारा जब ये 0 हो गया तो हमारा फाइनल नंबर जो है, इनिशियल नंबर गिवन बाय यूजर, वो रोमन नंबर में कन्वर्ट हो गया। तो हमारा फाइनल रोमन नंबर क्या होगा कि जो ये हमारे ऊपर से नीचे है, हम इसको लेफ्ट टू राइट लिख देंगे। मीन्स CM पहले, फिर L, फिर X और सो ऑन। तो हमारा फाइनल रिजल्ट क्या हो जाएगा? CM L X V ट्रिपल N। तो ये हमारा लॉजिक है टू कन्वर्ट integer to Roman. Now let's see our code structure. So in my code, I have included 5 libraries. The first library is IOStream, that is input output stream, which is a simple library which is required for using function for using C in C out ended. I am using some special libraries, that is unordered map. It is a hash table container for open lookups. So what are this? See, this is just for making our dictionary. The that assigning number their in assigning Roman number their integer value. Actually, we won't require the ordered arrangement of our Roman number and their corresponding value. That is why we are going to use this one library. Now vector dynamic array container for ordered pairs. So I'm using this library because I have to introduce vector for convert for assigning integers to their Roman number. Why I have used vectors? So I have using vector because there I have to define the maps in a increasing order. In decreasing order, it means in an ordered. I can't be unordered there. In the string, because I have to perform operations on string, that will, so therefore I will require string library because my Roman numbers are stored in form of a string. Now this CC type library is a special library for using character function. Here I am using it for a special function, that is toUpper, which what it does, it converts a lowercase letter to an uppercase letter. Now let's talk about the main code of our Roman to end function, its declaration and set. Now what integer Roman to end string is, what is this? Now we will talk about each and every part, each and every line of the code in deep. So what it does, this defines a function named Roman to end. It takes one parameter s, which is a string containing the Roman numeral like xiv. The function returns an integer value, the converted number. Now let's talk about second, that is a line, that is another map char in value. Here we create a lookup table like a dictionary. Unordered maps comes from the C++ standard template library. It stores key value pairs. In this case, the key is Roman character I, V, X, etc. and the value is corresponding integer 1, 5, 10, etc. The word unordered means the map does not maintain any order. It just always allows very fast searching. So whenever we want to know the value of a Roman letter, we can do value x, it will give us 10. Value v, it will give 5. Now, second part of our code. First, what we will do, we will initialize the result variable that will hold the final converted integer value. We will keep adding or subtracting Roman values as we move through the string, that is forward scanning, as we have talked about. Now, this for loop is for forward scanning. This loop runs through each character in the Roman numeral string s. I starts at 0. What is I? Here I is the index in the row of the index in string. So I index starts at 0, that is first character, and goes till the last index. And s dot length is the length of the string. Means if s is equals to ixv, then s dot length will give us will be equal to 3, and the loop runs for I is equals to 0, 1 and 2. Now let's talk about the if and else condition. First, this line performs two checks at once. So how it checks performs two checks at once? This double AND operator is a logical AND operator actually. Which says both the conditions should satisfy simultaneously. Now what is this S? I. This si is a notation which calls the character at that index. Means if s1 is there, means if it is s1, then it will give the character at index 1 in the string. So for what we are checking I plus 1 should be less than s dot length. Ensure that there is a next character to compare with, preventing out of range s's. If this condition fails, it means we have reached the last character, which automatically goes to the else part, added to the result. Value si, and we have talked about this value. Value gives the integer value corresponding to the Roman numeral. Compares current symbol with the next, and if both the conditions are simultaneously satisfied, then the value si means the integer value will be subtracted from result, and if any condition is violated, the program will proceed to else, and integer value of at index I will be added to result, right? As we have talked earlier also, कि हमारा जो मेन लॉजिक होता है कि कंपेयर करना कि जो नेक्स्ट नंबर है वो करंट नंबर से बड़ा है कि छोटा है। अगर बड़ा है तो हम उसे सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे, और अगर छोटा है तो हम ऐड करेंगे। सेम लॉजिक हमने यहाँ पे यूज़ किया है। और फाइनली हम रिजल्ट सारे कैलकुलेशन के बाद रिजल्ट रिटर्न कर देंगे। नाउ लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ LIX। सो इनिशियल रिजल्ट 0 है हमारा, और स्ट्रिंग हमारी क्या हो गई SLIX, इसकी लेंथ क्या हो गई 3। सो फर्स्ट आइट्रेशन में हमारे पास I 0 है, तो SI इज इक्वल्स टू L हो गया। S 0 मतलब इंडेक्स 0 पे क्या कैरेक्टर है L है, जिसकी वैल्यू 50 है। नाउ I प्लस 1 पे क्या है हमारे पास I, तो हमने चेक किया कि 50 इज लेस देन 1 और नॉट। Yes, 50, so 50 is less than 1. It is false. So what we will do? Because 50 is greater than 1. So we add 50, means result is 0 plus 50. Now if I is equals to 1, Si is equals to I. Next is Si plus 1 equal to x. That is 10. Now again we will check. 1 is less than 10. So yes, it is true. This is a subtractive case. So we subtract result 50 minus 1 equal to 49. Now in third iteration we have I is equals to 2. So S of I is equals to x, means S of, and there is no next character, because I plus 1 is will be equal to 3, which is not less than the length of the string. So the if cannot be true, we go to the else and add 10. So finally our result becomes 49 plus 10, that is 59. And here loop ends and returns result. Now we will talk about integer to Roman function. So again we are defining a function that will return a string value, because Roman number is in form of string. So, and it will take input in the form of an integer. Now we will talk about this vector pair. So what we have done here, a vector of pairs is created to store all Roman numerals and their integer values. Each element in this vector contains first part of the element is value, and the second part is the Roman symbol, and we can call each part by using dot first or dot second. Now the list is arranged from largest to smallest. Here you can see the list arranged from largest to smallest, including spatial subtractive cases. This ensures the algorithm always picks the largest possible Roman symbol first, and that we need greedy approach. Now let's see our greedy conversion. So we have initialized string, our result, variable result with as an empty string. Now what is this for auto and pin and this? It says that for loops for every pair in the vector. Means it will loop through each pair in the vector and in the order largest to smallest. And further, what this auto and p means? P is a reference to each pair. No, we are not copying. It is very faster. We are just referencing it. And what this p dot first? P dot first will give the integer value, and p dot second will give the Roman symbol. And what will our first iteration? For first iteration, p is equals to 1000 m, right? Now, what is this while? So, what was our logic? Um, while the number is greater than while, what we have to do? We have to subtract largest possible number from the value, from the given number. So here we are comparing. If the number is greater than the our number, so we will append. So what we will do? We will append our symbol and then subtract our number. Means this what this Hiller loop checks. Can the current Roman value fit into the remaining number? If yes, it means we can use the symbol. Example, if number is equal to 46 given by user, then what is the largest number we can subtract? That is 40. So p dot first will be equal to 40, and correspondingly 40 we will have xl, that is 46 less than 40. So condition is true, and we will subtract our first b dot first, that is 40, from the number. Now what happens inside the while loop? Let's take an explanation. So what it is? It appends the Roman symbol to our output string, and num minus equal to 4 subtracts the corresponding value from the number. This repeats while the symbol can still fit. So if the number is 20, we'll add x twice, means 10 plus 10, and simultaneously append, that is x, this is 20. And after all iterations, the loop continues through the entire vector until number becomes 0. That is the iterative reduction. At this point, result holds the full numeral representation and returns the final Roman numeral string to the main program. Now let's take an example and convert 46 to XLVM. Now starting, our number is 46 and result is an empty string. We will check for each number, that is 1000, 900, 500, 400. All are too large. Now 40 fits. So 46 is less than equal to is less than 40. So add XL. Result is equals to XL. Subtract 40. Now our number became 6. So move to next pairs. 10 and 9 are too large. So 5 fits. Add 5. Subtract 5. Result XLV, and our number becomes 1. Now again 1 fits. Add I. Subtract 1. Results XLV, and our number has become 0. And thus our loop ends, and output we get is XLV, which matches the final initial result. Now we will talk about input validation. Now what we are going to do here, we are going to check whether the Roman number input by the user is valid or not valid. So for checking the validity of the Roman number, we have 3 parameters. We go for each parameter one by one. So first, what we are doing, we are defining a function naming is which has name is valid row. What we will it do? It will take input as a string and return true or false, because we only want to know that Roman number is valid or not. True means valid Roman number and false means invalid one. Now what is this int count one? It keeps tracks of how many times the same character repeats consecutively. Starts it once, since a single character, if it is there, counts as one occurrence. Now again, this for loop is for looping through each character of the string from start to end. And again, I is the index of the current character. Now, what is this char upper? We are assigning the we are assigning upper our variable upper the character our character we are assigning current character to the variable upper. And what is this to upper? To upper is a special function that converts a lowercase letter to uppercase so that check works even if the user enters lowercase. Now, meaning of each compare. Now we will talk about each about our three parameters. The first parameter is check for valid Roman characters. Means we are going to check whether the user has input the valid Roman characters or not. We have only 7 valid Roman characters, that is I, V, X, L, C, D, M. And if user has input any other character rather than this, it will be an invalid Roman number. So we have to check this. So for that we are using if loop, if statement. So let's try to understand better by making one condition. So upper not equals to I means the character stored in upper is not equal to I. Here upper is the current Roman character in uppercase, I is the symbol we are checking against. So if upper is I, the expression is false because it is equal, and if upper is A, the expression is true because it is not equal, right? And what we have to want check whether it is what we require for a Roman numeral to be valid. It should require it should be equal to any one of at least any one from these 7 characters. But if it is not equal to any of the 7 characters, it would be invalid. So we are checking it here. Meaning of and, this double and, it is a logical and. We have also discussed earlier, it combines multiple conditions. In this context, the line under the if is read as if upper is not I and not V, and not M, then it is invalid. In simple words, all these conditions must be true. The character must be different from every valid Roman symbol for the if to trigger. Example, input character equal to A. क्लास का टाइम हो गया. So to better understand, let's take an example of input character A. Means user has input character A. So what we will check? We will check all this. Upper is not equal to I. Yes, true. Upper is not equal to I. Upper, we will check upper is not equal to A. Yes, it is not equal. It true. And for all other, it is a true. So all conditions are true. Since all conditions are true simultaneously, then if will be triggered, and so the entire if condition is true, the function executes and returns false, means A is invalid. Now we will check our second parameter, that is check for repetition of same character. We know that any character could not exceed, any character should not repeat more than 3 times. So we will check for this also. And for this we are defining, we have a step-by-step logic. If the current character equals to the previous one, increment count. What was count? Count, we have already defined a variable that stores how many times a Roman numeral how many times a Roman numeral repeats. If count exceeds 3, we will return false because Roman numerals cannot repeat more than 3 times. Example, 4 times I is invalid. If the current character is different, we will reset the count to 1. and return true. Now let's take an example. If we have example one, let's take an example one, x6ii. So all letters are valid. X repeats twice means count is equal to 2. I repeats twice, count is equals to 2. So output is, so it is less than 3. So our output will be true. Now if we take 4 times I repeats 4 times, so count will here becomes 4, and we will and our output will be false. We will say that the in Roman number entered by the user is invalid. If in now what we will do, we will check for invalid subtraction pairs. Again, I here it is the index in the string. This ensures, now why we are using I is greater than 0, because this ensures we only perform this check from the second character. So this block skips I is equals to 0 to avoid assessing s minus 1, which would be out of range. So char, we are defining again here a variable previous of data type char, which will store the previous character from the string, that is si minus 1. Now what is the if condition here? This compound statements check for illegal subtractive pairs. In Roman numerals, subtraction is allowed only in specific cases. That is, I can proceed only V or X for L or C for D and M. To understand, so these are no other subtraction combinations are valid. To understand better, we will take one case from this. So case one, case let's say, so take an example case one. Previous is equals to I, and double end means the logical end. Upper is equals to L, and this. What this lines mean? Means if the previous symbol is I and the current symbol is L, C, D or M, the combination is invalid. Right? Because I can proceed only V or X. And this double lines implies logical OR. That means either of the case is true, the function will proceed and return false. And similarly for other cases, if the previous character is X and the current character is D or M, so it is false. So it is invalid and it will return false. Now, this is how we will validate our Roman number. Now, let's talk about our main function. So in main function, we are just displaying our menu, that what we are offering to the user, and we are going to do our branching logic. Here we will output the user to choose an option of among the three and enter his choice. Now, if user chooses an operation among 1 and 2, that is Roman to integer or integer to Roman, we have this code. For choice 1, if choice is equal to 1, what we will do? It takes Roman numeral input in the form of string data type and will store in Roman in a variable named Roman. So what we will do? First, we will take Roman number from the user, validate it. For before validating, we will use this for char and c. It's nothing but it does for each character c in this string Roman. We will convert it to uppercase to avoid the situations of if the user has input lowercase letters. Now for and when then we will check the validity of Roman number by the function we have earlier defined as valid rom, and we'll just input it in the our function and it will return whether it is valid or invalid. If it is invalid, it will return the number entered by the user is invalid Roman number. Now cout. Now finally we will return him to integer value using our function Roman to it. We will feed Roman to it and we will get finally our Roman integer value corresponding to the Roman number. If the user would chooses choice 2 means he wants to convert his integer to Roman number. So first we will ask him to enter the number and we will check that the number is between the standard Roman numeral result or not. If it is not, we will give output as out of range, and if it is, then we will simply use our int to room function that converts Roman integer to Roman number. Now if user wants to perform calculation, validate, so for that we are now take a look on calculator function. What we are doing here, first we are defining two variables in string data type, that is Roman 1 and Roman 2. It will store the Roman numbers input by the user, and we are again defining a char and variable named OP in character data type. This OP will store the operator entered by the user. First, we will ask the user to enter the expression, that is x, suppose x plus v, and we will store them one by one in the same order. For now, again, this for cat, it says for each character c in the Roman once the string Roman 1, we convert it to uppercase. For similarly for the second Roman number, and again we will check the validity of the Roman number. If any one of the Roman number is invalid, we will give output that the Roman number entered by the user is invalid. This is all which checks any if this is all function simply. Now, after validation, both numbers are converted to integers using Roman 2 in function and are stored into the variables named num1 and num2. This allows arithmetic to be done using standard numeric operations. A variable result is created to store the computed answer. Now we are using switch case method for calculation. Now for switch we have op that stores our operator. So if it is, in case it is equal to plus, we will perform addition. Result will be equal to num1 plus num2, and for subtraction it will be num1 minus num2. For asterisk it will be num1 multiplied by num2, and for division we have also to check for zero case, that is the second number should not be zero because division by zero is not valid. And if the user inputs some other character, then these four other than these four operators, we would give output that you have given an invalid operator. Now after this we will check our result again, that it is in the standard Roman number range or not. If it is if not in the standard Roman number range, we will give output that this result out of range for Roman numerals. And finally we will give output integer result, and finally Roman result. For Roman result we will convert it to the Roman number using our function integer to Roman and taking input as result. And finally, if anything is not correct, we will give output as invalid choice. And if the user inputs any num in choice rather than 1, 2 or 3, we will give output as invalid choice. Now here our code ends, and let's now see how our code works. Now let's run the code and try to understand better. So now we are running the code. So as I have talked about, it is giving us option to select to what we need, convert Roman number to integer to Roman, or Roman numeral calculator. So I will go each option one by one. So first I will select 1. Now it is asking to enter the Roman numeral. So let's say I enter M, so I get 2000, right? Now suppose if I enter an invalid Roman number, then what will happen? So for that I should rerun the program. Again I will choose 1, and suppose here I enter A, so I get invalid Roman. Now again I will rerun the program. Now I want to convert integer to Roman number, so I have 20, enter a Roman number, say 795. So I get the row corresponding to one numeral. Now I will check for Roman numeral calculator. Now 3. I have to enter expression. So let's enter C. Now I want to perform multiplication, and again again x. So I get and result 1000. That is Roman numeral M. And this is how my code works. And this was all about my project. Thank you.